Welcome to anyone who is tuning in to the live stream or watching this video on YouTube after it's recorded. We'll begin in just a few moments. Welcome to those who have joined us. I believe Christina is most likely texting some other board members, so we'll see if we can get a couple other board members on at least in the next few minutes, and then we'll begin with a quick round of introductions.
Ms. Steristo Ledger will be joining shortly. And I've messaged the rest as well.
Okay, thank you, Christina. We'll start, regardless, we'll start with a round of introductions in like a minute and a half, I would say. We'll shoot by 5:05.
Are you cutting out for everyone else or is it just me? Okay. Just you, so you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a message that my internet connection was unstable. So if it continues to be a problem, I'll go off camera and that should help.
Okay.
Um, let's see what
Okay. Yep, there's Mrs. Estrada Perez and Miss Brody's also gonna join. Okay. In the meantime, I will screen share the agenda. So
Great. Yeah, I can get us going. I'll give a quick overview of the agenda and then we'll go into introductions. So welcome everyone who's present here. Thank you for being here. And then anyone who's watching, welcome to you as well. This is the October 9th, 2025 Family and Community Engagement Committee of the Hartford Board of Education. My name is Stephen Tatum. I'm the chair of the Family and Community Engagement Committee. The meeting tonight will hear some updates from the Office of Strategic Partnerships and Community Engagement. Sorry, that's not the full correct name. Ms. Hooker, you can you can help me with the correct name for that. But we'll hear some updates about all the great things that are going on from their office. Have some time to discuss a proposed contract with the Urban League for some community-based organization services at Weaver High School, and then hear our regular report from the Welcome Center and school governance, an update on school governance councils. Let's begin by going around and introducing ourselves to one another. For those of, I see some familiar faces and some new faces as well. So looking forward to working with you tonight. If you could share your name, your role, and because I love season change, of any season change, a favorite sign of fall that either you've noticed or you'll be looking out for in the coming month. As I said, my name's Stephen Tatum. I'm a board member, and favorite sign of fall for me, I like many of them. Fall is one of my favorite seasons, but I think the like sound of the crinkling leaves really does it for me. And I will pass it to, how about Valerie?
Hi everyone, my name is
Alger?
it's Alegre. So my name is Valerie.
Alegre. Thank you.
I am the Partnerships and Community Schools Manager. My favorite sign of fall is the pumpkin spice chai from Starbucks. I love the pumpkin cold foam. It's my favorite thing ever.
you want
And
to
if you could pass it off to the next person, just name someone else.
Okay, I'll pass it off to Flor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Flor de Hoyos. I am the director of the Welcome Center. My favorite sign is the mums. I go every year to get the mums, and I have to get early before they're even blooming because people go crazy and buy them all. And I like the big, big, big ones. And so this year I told my husband, just grab them. We don't care what color they are. So we ended up with 5 white ones and 1 purple. And I will pass it on to Christina.
Hi, Christina Santiago. I'm the board liaison for the district. Summer used to be my favorite month, but is now fall for the cooler weather because I just can't take the heat anymore as in my older age. And the sweaters and jeans and boots and stuff. That's my favorite. And I will pass it off to Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Martinez. I'm the Family Community Support Provider for McDonough Middle School. And there's something about wearing a sweater, jeans, and sandals. It's kind of weird. And then getting into the boots, it's just my season, definitely fall. I'm going to pass it on to Alejandro.
Good evening, everyone. Alejandro Martinez, Family Outreach and Engagement Manager for the district. And I am going to be completely honest. I am not a fan of fall. I was just complaining to my team that it started to get cold. I don't want to turn on the heat. I am a Caribbean child, so I like anything above 82 and sunny. That is right up my alley. So even though I'm a fall baby, I am not a fan of fall. Sorry. And I will pass it on to Corinda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Corinda Richardson, the Youth Development Manager at Urban League of Greater Hartford. And I like taking drives in the autumn to see the changes in the foliage, especially along the Wilbercross or Route 15. It's very pretty this time of year. I'm going to pass it to Janelle.
Hello, everyone. Janelle Hooker. I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Strategic Partnerships and Fund Development for the district. And I do like fall because I love the change of seasons. I love to be able to wear like the hoodies and the sweaters and the jackets and the boots. But the one thing I don't like of fall, I have a lot of trees where I live, like a lot of trees. And for the past 2 weeks, the volume of leaves that are already on my front lawn and driveway are a sign that fall is here, and my workout, which I don't like to work out regimen, is about to start. I will hand it over to Board Member Wilson.
Thank you. Fall. I like what everyone said. Yes, if you're living in the Northeast, dressing for the fall and winter weather is usually, right, that's a thing. What do I like about fall? My kids are older now, but I used to love bringing them to the pumpkin patch out in Windsor, getting the donuts and the cider. So now I'm gonna have to take my nieces just to get the excuse to go up there and get the cider and the donuts. So that's what I would say I like about. Yeah, I can't stand the leaves. Love the dress and love the pumpkin patch. I'll pass it off to Krista.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Krista Estrella Perez. I am in transit, so I apologize for being in and off of camera. Fall is my season. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's my favorite. It's Halloween. I love seeing all the kids dress up, and I get really excited to dress up, and they're so impressed when adults join them and trick-or-treating. So it's my favorite season. And in terms of nature, I think my favorite thing ever is watching the changes of the leaves happening, especially that purple hue that you get near the coast and in some certain trees. So that's really my favorite. So although I'm a Caribbean baby through and through, Caguas, Puerto Rico, I have learned to love fall and just the beauty of the changes and just the love of seeing just the young people, the crisp air. So it's just literally my favorite season. So excited that it's here. Don't love what follows, winter, to winter, but love fall.
Thank you all for sharing such detailed little glimpses. It's nice. I'm finding a lot of balance these days in just appreciating some of those rhythms and routines that happen in the outside world. Goodness knows there's enough going on in the rest of the world to be concerned about and engaged with. So balancing that with some of the little joys is a nice thing, I think. And thank you for sharing. With that, we can kick it off. I'll pass it over to Ms. Hooker, who can share some updates from her office.
Yes, so the Office of Strategic Partnership and Fund Development would like to share our to-dos. Ms. Santiago, if we could go to our to-dos for the month of October in terms of activities and events that our office is involved in either coordinating and or facilitating. On October 4th, at Milner School, there was the 15th annual Ollie M. Williams Community Health and Wellness Fair. On October 14th, we will be kicking off again this school year our parent and caregiver engagement panel. These meetings are once a month for 45 minutes using a virtual platform for families to be able to have an opportunity to review either initiatives or projects or things that are that the district is thinking about and be able to get a sense of their input on ideas. So I'm excited for these meetings to start all over again. Next week is our first one for this school year. On October 15, we continue being an integral partner of the Ascend pipeline. There is a once a month community conversation, and we will be working alongside the collaboration for those community conversations, the one at Parker Memorial from 6 to 7:30. And on October 15, we also, in collaboration with Hartford Parent University, there is also a meeting that facilitates building student success specific to PTOs and SGC members, where our staff office is also in collaboration with Hartford Parent University to facilitate those. October 20th, we are having our partners monthly meeting. Those occur at Capital Community College or Connecticut State Community College, Capital building. And those are specific to individuals that have a memorandum of understanding and are collaborating with the district to ensure that we have open communication, structure, and information that is crucial for them implementing services within our building and for us to be able to get information from them around any areas of concerns or areas that we need to focus to provide full intentional services and support for them. On October 28th, we will be facilitating for the first time a collaboration with the City of Hartford where we're calling it Raising the Bar, Common Application Completion. We're piloting, bringing in volunteers from the community to come to our 3 comprehensive high schools, Buckley High School, Hartford High, and Weaver High School, and support the senior class in completing a common application as a way of continuing to support their preparation for post-secondary. There will be a series of events. The first one is this one, and we're looking forward to collaborating with them around a career fair in the month of February, college tours during the spring. We are also kicking off this month, Board Member Tatum, as part of our presentation. When you see our October to-do, you will see in the bottom where we have school events by zones as another opportunity to share out information of what the FCSSPs are planning and or the schools have occurring during each month. So Ms. Santiago, if you click on any of the zones, just so that I can showcase what that looks like, and this will be posted. So for Zone 1, you will be able to see a list of the schools that belong to Zone 1. The name of the event, the date that those events are scheduled to occur, and the time that they will be being facilitated. So for family members and parents to be able to also have that information, or for board members, if you're interested in attending the different events, this is an opportunity for you to know what are the different activities that are happening at schools at a glance. Thank you, Ms. Santiago. And at this time, I will be handing over the present. Nope, that was October to-do. I handed it back over to Board Member Tatum.
Sure, thank you. And I'm excited to explore those lists of different activities. If someone watching doesn't have access to the slides, I guess the slides that will be available in board docs, is that correct,
Correct.
Christina? Okay, so anyone can access the slides and the links to those pages with the events through the link in board docs. Thank you for compiling that. It's exciting to see it in one place for someone who's kind of looking on it from the outside. It's cool to know what's going on. All right. Next on the agenda, I think I saw that the Title I report will be next. Is that correct, Alejandro? And is that going over to you?
That is coming over to me, yes.
All right, take it away.
Indeed. Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Like I mentioned earlier, Alejandro Martinez, and I'll be going over the Title I parental engagement funds allocation that are given to us. Christina, you can click over to the next slide. So before we go into how much money we receive, where is it going, just in case we have any new families, partners, community members joining us. Title I, what is Title I funding? So Title I is a federal funded program that provides financial assistance to schools with a high percentage of students from low-income families. The goal of Title I is to help close educational achievement gaps and ensure our children receive high quality education, right? And so a lot of the times people say, well, what can we use, or what are those funds being used for, especially the parent engagement activities. So those are the FCSSP is in collaboration with parents in the building and their administrators are able to use that funding for family math and literacy night, parent resources books, supplies to conduct workshops at every school, that which FCSSPs are required to have. Those that are full-time 6 on a yearly basis. Those that are the part-time basis, they're required to have 3 a year. There's a small percentage that is allowed for light refreshments, professional speakers, and family book club supplies. And this year, as a department, we decided to put a timeline on how we want to see those funds, the timeline for how we want those funds to be spent, due to the fact that we don't want to rush the process in March or April when the funds, everything needs to be put in a rec for the finance department. In addition to that, our FCSSPs are required to complete or have completed a family action plan. So they already have their family action plans and all their activities lined up for the academic school year. So we wanted to ensure that that family action plan actually correlated with the Title I funds as well. So those are dates that you'll see. So October 15th, we are expecting every single school to have spent 25% of their funds. December 1st, 50%, February 1st, 75%, and April 1st, 100%. And that it's obviously my job to ensure that those funds are actually spent and encumbered, because we never want to return any funds to the federal government at the end of the year. And then with that being said, Christina, you can go over to the next slide, which is the Title I budget for the 25-26 school year. So at this moment, with all schools, we were allotted 130,286 with 76 cents. As of October 7th, we have already encumbered $17,021.50, which gives us an available amount of 113,265 with 26 cents. And as you can see on the graph right next door, that means that we have already encumbered 11.6% of those funds, which a remaining balance of 88.4. And in conversations with FCSSPs, since there is a timeline that I provided for them, there are a lot of proposals that have already gone over to finance for approval. So hopefully by next meeting, we should be meeting our goal. Any questions so far? And with that being said, Christina, I think I saw Board.
Yep. Board Member Brody, Chair Brody, you may ask your question.
And I hope I can be heard. I'm trying to get onto my other device.
Loud and clear at this point.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anywhere where we keep track of what, like, that at a snapshot we can say, okay, this school used their Title I funds for this event?
So we do, and thank you for reminding me of that, because you just reminded me of 2 things. So we actually this year created, in collaboration with our Power School guru, Rich Lindwald from the district, who's our Power School person, we actually switched over the FCSSP report instead of being a paper and Excel document, we actually switched over to Power School. So that way there's one way of tracking. And one of the items that we actually did add, Board Member Brody, was if there was any Title I expenditure. So when they're actually listing other events for the month and all the activities at another school, there is a section in our reporting that we do ask them to write down, did you use some of Title I money? Yes, no. And if you did, how much money did you actually spend on that? So that is something that we did ask this year, FCSSPs, and we are, their reports just came in on October 5th. And so I'm in the process of reviewing them and actually ensuring that um, the Title I funds that were used were in that report so that we can compare and actually know exactly where those Title I fundings are being used.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In addition to that, before I hand it over to one of our FCSSP who's joining us tonight, one of the new things that we've added and make sure was to have a Title I parent rep for the parent activities account to ensure that parents are involved in the expenditure of the Title I funds for the parent activity account. So we will be having and providing to you all a list of the Title I parental engagement members at each particular school so that we can have that as well, so that you can all have that as well. And I think I saw Janelle hand up. All right ahead, Janelle.
May I, Board Member Tatum?
Please.
So one thing just to explain what Alejandro Martinez just shared is as an office, we're looking to ensure that we have strategies and mechanisms to not only support our FCSSPs, but to be able to utilize data to help us get an information on how we are utilizing our funds, how we're supporting our FCSSPs, and any additional trainings that are needed in order to ensure that families are receiving the best support possible by our staff being allocated at each one of the schools. My ultimate goal is to be able to have these reports transition over into Open Architect. So getting a step closer to having that there and to be able to have that information available to you all at any point in time. So getting us into PowerSchool and getting our FCSSPs trained on how to utilize that and really be able to get reports out of the system to see not only their efforts, but their activities, the funds that were utilized under Title I, any donations that they were able to secure to support those services is going to be part of the information that we're hoping to share out at some point this school year.
And just as a reminder for anybody tuning in, Open Architects is a online like data hub that the district is beginning to use to provide real-time data about all kinds of school-related academic, extracurricular, and community engagement and financial data. So looking forward to seeing that continue to roll out because I think that access to information like that will help in many ways. Any other questions at this point before we hear directly from an FCSSP? All right then. Oh, yes, I see. Sorry, question from Board Member Estrada Perez. Go ahead.
Thank you, Board Member Tatum. Actually, it's just a moment of appreciation. I just wanted to say that I appreciate both earlier the list of items that are going to be happening ahead of time for the district for people to know and for parents to know and that it will be available. And I also appreciate putting in the timeline to figure out when the money should be spent and being proactive about that. I just wanted to name that, it's hard when you're dealing with such a big district and the complicated nature of it, putting everything in and streamlining it and making sure the data is available. So I just want to just give you all a shout out for doing that. And I appreciate you all bringing back that data and being able to go over it and putting into place systems that allow us to see things a little bit easier. So yeah, just much appreciation to you all.
Thank you. Back over to you, Mr. Martinez.
And thank you, Board Member Estrada, for those words. We spent countless hours at the office re-strategizing from last school year to this school year. So I'm happy to hear that you all are pleased. At this particular moment, as I was mentioning to Board Member Tatum, every month this year, we're going to have every FCE meeting, we're going to have an FCSSP that we're going to be spotlighting, but not necessarily spotlighting for them to actually, from you to hear directly from them on how they're working in their schools with their Title I funding, what's their planning, how are they the expenditures. So here with us today is Michelle Martinez, and she's the FCSSP from McDonough Middle. And Michelle, go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me today. I'm actually pretty excited. So let's talk about Title I first. So McDonough received this year $2,673. We did spend $2,671.53, which put us at 99.9% of spending. Our Title I was pretty much spent before the school year started, or right about that first 2 weeks. We start planning Title I pretty much in May or June of the year before. We work with, we have a parent engagement team made up of an administrator, a teacher. We do have parents that sometimes are here volunteering and join the meetings. So in that meeting and in the PTO, we sit down and kind of focus, what events do we want to repeat from next year? What do we want to do that we didn't do? And that's where we kind of, so we use the same budget we had the year before. If they give us more money, we add more things. If they give us less, we figure it out. So in that parent engagement, that's where we figure out where we're going to allocate our Title I money. And that's kind of the same thing that comes into planning. That's where we plan it. If you see to the right, we have a family engagement for October for McDonough. This is our kind of way of doing calendars. Because in a conversation, our parents just talked about how all they see are calendars all the time, for everything, for work, for school, for everything. So we decided to showcase our events on this, every month we put this up and it shows our parents what events we have, what dates. We also send it home so they can pop it up on their fridge. But this is definitely not just an FCSSP. This is the entire parent engagement team sitting down, planning it out. And we know, like our CBO, Catholic Charities, quick shout out, sorry. We do everything hand in hand. You don't know where we start and where they end. So, our workshops, financial literacy, we just are going to start English class workshops for parents. So these are some of the things, but every event we do together. I stay, it doesn't matter. I stay, she stays, we all stay together. And believe it or not, we have teachers, everyone's involved in this. So having the parent engagement gives us an opportunity for people to come present what they want to, and then we get the event approved by admin and we kind of just put it all together. Do you guys have any questions? Is there something I maybe didn't answer that you wanted to know, board members?
Francoise Durst-Ledger, go ahead, board member Durst-Ledger.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say, I just want to say that I'm loving the energy. I can really appreciate that. So that's all I wanted to say. Continue.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, we kind of do this with everything in the school, SGC. We call this the bat phone. Because if the parents aren't here, we bat phone them and figure out where they are. So honestly, it's really a team effort. McDonough couldn't be what it is without our family engagement team, our ACE team, but our family engagement is so powerful because it's family engagement at all levels, after school, before school, during school, our PAC awards, for student of the month and attendance. So, and they are involved in pretty much every aspect of planning. Any other questions?
Did you have a question, board member Sara Perez? I saw your hand for a moment.
Well, another question, another sort of like just congratulations on the ways that you're sharing the events that are coming, because they are right. There's calendars upon calendars upon calendars. I know parents who have their calendar, a family calendar, their work calendar, their extracurricular activity calendar. So it's really cool that you'll see it in a way that is visually attractive, to the point that it is usable, and so parents don't feel like it's an extra, and that it was done collaboratively. And when you do it collaboratively, then you end up with a end product that really serves the needs, right? And in this case, is making sure that these events are highlighted. It doesn't sort of get lost in translation. It's not just another calendar that doesn't really attract the eye, and really speaks to the fact that like people were involved in making sure this fit the needs of that community. So, just really good work.
Thank you.
Board Member Brody.
Yes, thank you for that. So what I'm hoping, and I'm not saying it's not being done, but what I'm hoping is that parents are kind of leading in this section. It's the one opportunity on something that's like funded that that could be planned out, that they are part of. I just come from a day where parents was leaders in it. I understand it's a partnership, but they definitely were a leader in that. And I know it varies from school to school where families are and where the level of involvement and even the level of leadership is. But I'm hoping that when we see that opportunity, that we're letting them be leaders when they can. That's just my only hope. Not saying that it's not done, but I just come from a time where the parents were like, "Oh, we're planning this. Oh, yes, we are." But it was a different day and time. So that's my only comment.
I'd have to agree with you on that. Oh, I apologize.
Yeah. I was about to say, could you speak to what
Yes.
you're finding success with in terms of parent leadership?
I mean, my mom was huge in PTO. I went to Catholic school for like 100 years, my whole life. So we were involved. Mom was involved in everything, but it was a different time. And I think what happens is we do have parents who are illiterate and they believe, well, I can't be a leader. I don't know how to use a computer. I can't read or write. Are you kidding me? Leadership skills, you have them. We just got to bring them out. So I think it's just really encouraging our parents. I bring parents to a lot of our events that we have for the district, and they go there and they try and help and lead. And I think it's, what are you good at, and bringing it out. Every parent that comes in this room is good at something. Even when we had the funds to redo the family center through our CN funds, the parents didn't want the coffee pot that I thought we should have. So we let them pick what they wanted, and they literally picked everything in my room, and they have input in pretty much everything that we do here. And right now we're really working with our 6th grade parents because they're new and we might do it different than the other school did it. So right now that's what we're really working on, is a lot of engagement, but our parents have a huge say so as to the things that go here. That's why we invite them to parent engagement meeting, obviously SGC, PTO, and all the things that we have in the building. And we try a lot of different ways because unfortunately it's not just Parent Square. You got to do Parent Square, old school paper. Texting is huge and powerful because it's that moment to remember right now. Because that's the thing, is a lot of reminding the parents. I could put this out in October 1st. Guess what? My event's October 3rd. I have to remind the 2nd and the 3rd. So I do agree with you with a lot of that, but we do see a lot of parents are confident in this building. We have over 25 volunteers. It's kind of like the kids, if they do it and they create it, they will come. So that's kind of
Thank you.
Here. Thank you guys so
Awesome.
much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I really appreciate it. And if you ever get a chance, pop on by. We have our Latin parade, the 17th. And tomorrow, Bella is breaking out. Bella is one of our mascots, and she has been taken. And the children have to figure out some math problems, science, and English problems to find her. So stay tuned. There will be a video for that one. Thank you guys so much. Any other questions?
That sounds great.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Michelle.
And shout out to Mr. Martinez and Ms. Hooker for coming up with the idea to have an opportunity at these meetings to hear directly from FCSSPs. I think it does really enrich our conversations and our perspective as board members, and just kind of like community awareness of the great things that are going on and the hard work that is being done in our schools. So thanks for lifting up that that excellent work. Was there any more to your report, Mr. Martinez?
No, that is it. I'll be doing my SGC report towards the later on in the presentation.
Excellent. Thank you for that for now. Transitioning now to hearing about a proposed contract for community schools programming at Weaver High School. Janelle Hooker, I believe you'll take the lead on this.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So after many, many months of us starting this process, we are here today to revisit the community schools contract to include Weaver High School, which was not part of the approvals that we did for community schools contract back in the month of August, as the process for Weaver High School was done a little different from the other schools. We did put out, due to reasons beyond our control, we put out a request for proposal to identify a lead organization for Weaver High School. This process started back on June 30th when the RFP was released. We did facilitate a pre-proposal conference, a virtual pre-proposal conference to be able to respond to questions that prospective organizations would have. Proposals were submitted back on July 29th, and we worked directly with the Office of Procurement out of the city of Hartford. And we put together an evaluation committee to help us go through the applications that were coming in. Some of the challenges from the evaluation committee, not challenges, but pieces that needed a little more support, were the parents that we had with us as part of the committee, providing them education on this huge packet of proposal that was coming in, and how do you read it and what are the pieces that you look for. The Office of Procurement was able to really walk through what an evaluation process looked like, provide them with a score kind of rubric sheet for them to utilize. And it took a little longer than I was planning or anticipated, but I'm happy that we went the way we did, because we were able to have a variety of individuals providing input in this process. The process also entailed a interview process to include the school administration to also weigh in on the top organizations that, based on the score from the evaluation committee, would then be invited to an interview process, which had the evaluation committee individuals sitting there asking the questions, but the school administrators were able to put together the additional questions to be asked and sat there as spectators, or kind of part of listening to the answers that were being presented. Next slide. For this particular contract, we are looking at following a braided approach. We here at the district had applied for a grant that the Nellie Mae Educational, let me get it correct, Nellie Mae Education Foundation grant had an opportunity that we wanted to tap into around community-based organizations providing support in a community school setting. We applied for that particular grant, and we were awarded $100,000 through that process, which we're not able to come here to the board to do the acceptance and approval, because we were waiting to go through the process of identifying an organization that we would then braid the funds with the North Hartford Ascent Pipelines allocated monies that we have also for the community-based organization for Weaver High School, who is one of the 5 schools within the Promise Zone, which the North Hartford Ascent Pipeline provide funding for that designation. So the contract that we would be looking to get approval for would be in the amount of $277,840 dollars, utilizing the NHAP funds, which is a federal grant, and the Nellie Mae Educational Foundation Fund, which was a grant that we applied for, to be able to provide this for school year 25-26. Next slide. During the RFP process, we did get a total of 8 organizations who applied to be considered to become a lead organization at Weaver High School. We had Eli Patrick and Company, Center for Latino Progress, Urban League of Greater Hartford, the Rise Up Group, Inc., Lifetime Center, LLC, Catholic Charities, YWCA Hartford Region, Inc., and Hartford Communities That Care. So we had a variety of small and larger organizations apply to be a part of the process. The organizations that you see highlighted in blue were the organizations that had the higher score, and they were brought in to be a part of the interview process that occur at Weaver High School with the evaluation committee and the school administration sitting as observers of the questions that were put together by the school. Those questions were around scenario-based, or kind of looking at their experience around family engagement, attendance and engagement strategies for hard to engage high school students specific, as well as academic achievement in the areas of English and math, were kind of the areas that the questions really focus on for the organizations. Next slide. Through that process, the organization that we're here today bringing to you for approval would be the Urban League of Greater Hartford, which we would be looking for the contract to provide services to 100 students to receive intensive cadence of wraparound services. While the organization will have many of their activities open to all students, there will be a number of students that we would need a higher level of service or cadence support provided to the school, which would be the 100 students that you see here. And we would be utilizing the funding for school year 25-26 at a braided approach of the North Hartford Ascent Pipeline grant and the Nellie Mae Educational Foundation grant. And I think my next slide brings us to Q&A time.
Thank you for sharing that information. I'll open it up to questions from board members. Board Chair Brody, go ahead.
Yes, so I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm a little biased because we know larger organizations have an advantage when you're putting together proposals and all of those things, because you have the resources and the staff to do so. So when certain organizations never get the opportunity to make it to the level where you're asking certain questions and interacting in all those important things, well, the things that I deem super important in the process, they kind of are at a disadvantage. So I wasn't aware that only certain organizations would make it to the actual interview to be able to show another side to just what's written on paper. So that's just my comment for now until we're like, I guess, are we able to ask the organization questions?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll stop there and make room for if someone else had an opportunity to, or wanted an opportunity to speak.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson, I see your hand.
Thank you, Board Member Tatum. Okay, well, first I'd like to hear from the Urban League. I'd like to hear a little bit more specifics on some of the wraparound services that they are looking to provide at Weaver, and what some of those capabilities look like. So I guess, yeah, I guess I have questions, but I would like to hear from the Urban League.
I have with me here today Board Member Tatum, representative from the Urban League, who was a part of the entire process, meaning that she also had to present in front of the evaluation committee. Ms. Richardson?
Sure. Thank you for your questions and for your concerns. So traditionally, our engagement with high schools in the city of Hartford has been through our youth development program, primarily through our Project Ready program. It's a youth development after-school enrichment program to help high schoolers get ready for college, work, and life. The wraparound services that we propose to bring to Weaver would tie in the services in the 5 pillars that we offer with education, employment, housing, health, and justice. And the second interview in which we were able to present, we shared a space with our workforce coordinator, who had was previously employed with the Hartford Public School System and had some ideas specifically with Weaver and try to integrate some of the services between disciplines that were in the school to tie into some of the assets. The previous FCSSP that was here shared how each parent has talents and assets that they can bring to help enrich that program. We believe the same thing about students. Every student possesses something unique, and they may not feel like school can be for them, but once you provide them with options and try to tailor certain things to their needs, they may find it more engaging to come during the school day. Once we can identify some of the barriers, we can match them or refer them to services in our agency, in our adult education department, our workforce department, our economic enrichment department that can also help with financial literacy, and our health, equity, and justice departments as well. Within that workforce and economic enrichment department, we have a financial opportunity center, and that helps to tie in community services, community resources, and community organizations, and helps participants to be able to apply and to access some of the resources they either may not be aware of or may have been caught up in some red tape, and we can help them through that process. In addition to the students, we have some experience working with the FCSSPs and some other schools and have been very active and engaged with parent engagement strategies, techniques, and tools based on the principles, SIPs, whatever the goals and ideas are, the needs that the school has. We've been able to tailor some approaches based on those needs, especially when we talked about the Title I funding and have been a part of those family math nights, family literacy nights, and bringing in other community partners to help, to help them become more comfortable talking about financial literacy, and not just based on what we need, but based on the needs that they're sharing with the staff throughout the school year, and getting partners at the table so that they can have direct access and direct contact with them. Were there any other specific questions?
I caught a little bit of it from your overview. I wonder if you could just kind of very concretely describe, like, what would these in this intense cadence of wraparound services for 100 students look like? Like, what's the schedule? What's the where are the touch points? Who's who's there in the schools? Who's making the connections? What does that look like on your end?
Right. So thank you for the question. So we will have to hire we would have to hire more staff to have a more intense focus at Weaver. Like Ms. Brody mentioned, some agencies are larger, some are smaller. Our youth team is small, but we have capacity and partnerships that help us to be able to provide some robust work in a more efficient and effective way. So we have our youth development manager. It's me. We have a youth and young adult pathways coordinator that will help connect with parents, students, and with partners. We'd be looking to hire a community school director who would be on site to handle most of the administrative needs and to oversee the program as a whole. We have a case manager and we will hire a case manager, but we have some case management work through an intern that we recently got from University of St. Joseph to help with social emotional learning intelligence, mindfulness, and with coping strategies and techniques and tools. We will hire a data integrity or data specialist to help make sure that information is inside of Transact that's needed, and to get information and the data that's needed to the school district and to you all as well. In the mornings, we'll look to connect with the ACE team and administration on a given day during the school day. We would have touch points either during lunch periods or pulling out students one-to-one or in small groups to see how they're doing and how they're engaging with their classes. We'll be communicating with the teachers to find out with a academic success plan, motivation plan as well, to see where the students are with their coursework, especially with math and with reading and literacy. After school, we'll be working to enhance some of the programming there to have not only tutoring, but have learning in a fun and engaging way based on how students would be more interested in learning and to help with some of that engagement. Overall, we're hoping to help improve the culture and the climate in the school as well, working with the FCSSPs, working with the ACE team, and working with teams that already exist in the schools that are doing the things for the students that they need, but just may have some gap areas and need a little bit more support and some ideas to help implement some of these strategies.
That's helpful. Thank you. You mentioned that you already have on staff a youth development manager, and there was one other position that you named that I didn't catch. Could you say what it was?
Yes, Youth and Young Adult Pathways Coordinator. A youth
Thank
development specialist would help with facilitation and with direct contact with the cohorts as well. And then with the wraparound supports and services, like I mentioned, our workforce team and others will help with wellness, dimensions of wellness, financial stability, and workforce connections to opportunities after high school that may not be directly college related, but we want to make sure everybody has some kind of plan, whether they are going to be enrolled in school, employed with an employer, or enlisted to a military option.
Thank you. Ms. Brody, I see your hand.
Thank you. So this is probably the one night I hope no parents are watching, because it's difficult when you talk about the reality of a school and people know like you're talking about them or their children. But we know the struggles that, you know, many of our high schools, in particular our comprehensive high schools, what they face. And I didn't hear that there is a specialty in trauma and with all the violence that our kids are sometimes a part of, sometimes a victim of, sometimes just in our communities. I didn't hear that addressed in like a specialty in that area at all. That kind of concerns me. Because we in Weaver, we have organizations for pathways to, for careers. We have those things that I'm assuming you'll complement, but the things that we don't have sitting in there, I didn't hear that like as a loud resource that you come with or that you specialize in. So that's a little concern, especially trauma. So I don't know if it was something like maybe you didn't touch upon enough, but I'm definitely concerned about those missing pieces that weren't mentioned.
I can understand your concern and thank you for elevating that. With our specialties in our 5 pillars that I spoke about, I did not mention the reach and the collaborative nature of our team to be able to fill those gaps that we do not specialize in. Our staff and our work is trauma informed because that's a lot of the community that we serve and the community that we may be born, raised, or involved or just do this work in. So we're not strangers to that. But we do also acknowledge that we can't provide everything either, but we want to make sure that we can connect with the resources, the entities, the organizations, some that are in-house or some that already have partnerships with Weaver to be able to support them in ways that they can to help make the students and the families more successful. help them address some of those barriers that other people may not have listened to or may not have understood or may not have addressed for them. It will be hard to make monumental changes overnight, but we're willing to do the work. The days that we are there and the evenings that we may not be assigned to be there, but need to be there, we'll work towards that end up through June 30th. And we have committed to be a committed partner to this school, to this system, to the staff and the families that are at Newport High School. We've also been open to creative ways to try to build relationships with the families and the students outside of the school day. At sporting events, they've opened up opportunities to table at for example, some of the football games, to table some there, and we could start to build relations. And it's no stranger that there's been other providers there who are very successful there, and we are grateful for that. And we just want to continue to build on these enrichments and these wraparounds at the school. So if there's other areas that you didn't hear mentioned, please continue to mention them as well, and I can share our ideas about those that we have planned for or others that we need to keep in mind so that we do plan for them and address them as well.
I'll yield. I know it's 2 other board members, so if it's time, I'll circle back, but they will be presenting at the board meeting, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I see 2 other hands up. Let me be quiet.
We'll circle back to you, certainly, given a little extra time. It's 6 o'clock now. We've got 30 minutes left scheduled in the meeting. So Mrs. Estrada Perez, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I guess the question that I have is, you spoke a little bit about 2 roles. One, and I just want you to repeat a little bit. You spoke about the ACEs role and about an intern. Can you just repeat what you shared? That's part 1, about what those roles are and what they look like, particularly the intern and how they will be working within. You also named that you would have to hire some positions for those particular roles. Can you give me an idea of what that timeline looks like, when we can expect those things to happen, and how will they be brought up to speed to be able to then be able to do the work? Yes, they will come with the knowledge, but they will be new to your spaces. So how would you make sure that they are ready to meet the need? And then I would also want to stress the fact that I think thinking creatively about even coming in ready to think about, for even the board meeting, thinking about what are those other organizations that deal with trauma informed, because you can be trauma informed, right? But how do we, what are those other organizations that you could create relationships with or that already exist, so that we think about that, because that is going to be a big deal. And you have a lot of board members. We care about all our schools, but certainly care about Weber and want to make sure that our students have that. So if you can speak to those 2 roles that you name, including the intern and then the hiring timeline and onboarding them to make sure that they're ready to do the work in a way that makes sense. And if I misunderstood, of course, correct me. Thank you.
Okay, I will ask you to repeat one of them. So one of the roles, so I'll start with the intern first. The intern is a Master's of Social Work intern at the University of St. Joseph. She will serve as a portion of our case management that we will not hire, but that will be on our staff to help address the needs, especially some of those trauma needs that we mentioned, but to provide some of the social emotional learning techniques, tactics, strategies, and intense circumstances with some of the students and the families. We talked about supporting some of the ACE, but with doing virtual home visits with some of the families to identify some of those barriers and just to get a deeper dive about what some of their needs and concerns may be and ways that we can help to address some of those issues and concerns. With bringing in new staff, it will be an expedited timeline. The goal is to have people hired within 30 days so that we can have a more robust staff by the beginning of November. We have had some applicants who are already doing youth work around the city who are interested in other roles. At that time, we did not have the funding to be able to pursue some of their interest in joining our team. And with this grant and opportunity and contract, hopefully we'll be able to interview, vet them, and onboard them. Part of the training plan that we submitted as part of our proposal was training, and the first aspect on there was trauma-informed care and de-escalation techniques. We do have some partner connections with some of our community-based organizations. Some we often use are My People Clinical Services, Compass, Peace Builders, and also Hartford Communities That Care. And they also have helped some of our staff in times that we've needed with some crisis response or circumstances that were outside of our scope. And we value the relationships that we have there and look for other ways to grow them based on the needs that arise as they arise and occur. So for individuals that will be interviewed, that will be hired, there will be some training that is needed before we step foot into Weaver to just try to power up our current staff in addition to the trauma-informed care and de-escalation strategies. Some culture competency and equity training is also going to be included with that, mandated reporter training, school-based safety, SEL and mental health first aid, and some youth development and leadership trainings as well. I'll also be looking to connect with the school staff there to help us get up to speed about the culture of the school, some of the processes and policies that are already in place, and the things that are working at the school and ways that we can further integrate ourselves into their culture. I don't remember the other title that you wanted more clarity on. Can you restate that one?
Oh, I think it might have been the same thing. You were mentioning the ACEs. I think it might have been the intern role. So you mentioned something about ACEs and I didn't quite catch it. So I want to, but I think you answered my question. I appreciate the details of the transition, what it looked like to the hiring and the training aspects, as well as what it will look like to get them ready. I appreciate that answer. I think it was thorough, and certainly looking forward to hearing, but I'll yield my time for the next board member. Thank you.
And just to be clear, the ACE is not something that we hired. That's the attendance team at the school. So
okay, wanted to make sure. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what you were jumping in to clarify, Ms. Hooker?
Yeah, I was just going to say that ACE stands for Attendance, Climate, and Engagement, and each one of our schools have an ACE team. Our CBOs will have an opportunity to sit through those meetings so they can look at what services they can bring in to support the needs that get identified during those meetings.
Well said.
And
thank you.
The high priorities are there is to help address chronic absenteeism. And so that's what our role there will be with them.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, go ahead.
Yep. Forgot my hand was up. You did answer, Krista asked you one of the questions that I had, but maybe you can walk me through, if possible, is the enrichment portion, is this an everyday thing? Is the plan to be in the school every day? Is there an after school enrichment portion of this? And if so, what does that look like, or what does that plan look like?
So our first plan would be to meet with the principal. Our Project Ready program is not geared to address the whole school.
Okay.
It is a college and career readiness program, and that is an option for enrichment after school. Our team that will be hired will be expected to service the school daily. Now, whether that means to be assigned to office and to be seated there daily, or if she would like us there 3 times a week, 4 times a week, we would have to iron out those details with the principal, but our intention is to be a support to the school daily. We would also have to assess what the current after-school landscape is right now and in-school landscape right now. If there's an advisory class or something where we can push into, or where some of the gaps are, if they have a student engagement specialist or other roles that were not budgeted this year, that we're able to have some intensive support for particular students in high need. And we may be able to fill those gaps during the school day as well. So at this time, I can't really address how we would push into enrichment until we assess what after school programs are there, which ones are they looking for and seeking, and we would gladly be able to fill some of them to do our own programming, probably once a week, but to leave space for the ones that the other community partners that can help to fill some of the immediate needs, especially with tutoring, helping with the learning gaps in math, and helping with the learning gaps in reading. One thing that we would be committed to doing more consistently is the academic support and enrichment in those areas to help boost the ELA and math scores for the sophomores particularly, or for those other students in high need.
I appreciate that answer. I would just, in preparation for your discussions with that administration, their principals and all their an expectation that there will be some need for some after school enrichment programming.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
I do want to say, we had also prepared in the event that we did not get this contract to still approach the FCSSP and the principal at the school to provide youth development and college and career services as a provider at the school. With the nature of this grant, it would be a heavier lift to address a broader student body. So our traditional after-school programming may not be the ideal fit for this right now, but the way that we deliver that programming to still boost college and career preparedness will be a part of the natural plan to help ensure the students are a little bit more ready for college working life, depending on their grade level. And it's not really geared towards a particular grade, but our hope is that youth continue to feel empowered, find more ways to identify their personal brand and the assets that they bring, and then find and connect them to tools and resources that can help them be more successful and achieve success for what that looks like for them and their families.
Thank you again. Ms. Brody, I'll leave it up to you. If you have another question that you'd like to ask now, the floor is yours. If it can maybe be in the 4 to 5 minute range.
I will not need 4 to 5 minutes.
Not just
Maybe-
you, but the discussion around the questions. Yeah.
and maybe I need to just do some engagement between now and the board meeting. I just because I have a child in the building, I know the sense of urgency, and I don't want to go into a vote thinking we have to get ready. Like we we're choosing an organization that has to get ready and not are ready for the things that make it difficult for education to be at its highest, like those the glaring things that we need support in. Those are things I'm like, okay, we could figure the other stuff out because we do have support. We have organizations that interface, but I was just hoping that we could hit the ground running, and I just feel like we have some getting ready to do. So I have to do some homework myself, just getting acclimated and digging deeper into like some of the things that I have concerns about to see if it's really a concern or it's just my perception. So I need to do some homework. I'll coordinate through Ms. Hooker just to get myself like with a good understanding. So that's just what I plan to do. That's just my comment. And I'm hoping that we're open to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful that you shared it. I'm sorry. I'm grateful that you shared it now because it is helpful to see this village that supports and that's in the school, right? There's so many elements. There's staff, there's security guards, SROs, there's the district, there's community organization, there's parents, there's partners, there's mentors, and so many other people have tie-in to the school. And our goal is we all do want what's best and everybody plays a different role, but hearing the needs and concerns is very pivotal in terms of trying to figure out how to make it work. And some things may not work at first. So being active and vocal is important to know that like, hey, we tried this, it didn't work. What are we going to do next? And we don't have that much time to figure it out. So how can we accelerate or do it quickly, effectively, efficiently? So thank you for sharing that you're a parent. That your son will be there, and hopefully we'll be able to hear more from the SGC too once we get involved and hear what other needs are from students and parents and the teams and the organizations that support the school as well.
She's not just a parent, but she's also a graduate.
Come on, alum.
I did not want to lead with that. So there is an extra investment here.
I am very mindful that I'm facilitating this call with 3 very loud and proud Weaver grads as colleagues on the board here. So
sorry, Mr. Chair, we're all on the So
Text
we like,
matters. Thank you for sharing that too.
but looking forward to learning more. Just looking forward to learning more. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you, Ms. Hooker.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
It's beautiful to see people who care so deeply about their school. And it cuts deep because the stakes are high for the lives of these students, and for the future of our community. So I applaud you and your team, Corinda, for the work that you've done to throw your hat in the ring for providing these services, and congratulations on making it to this point. That certainly doesn't go without a lot of hard work already, and a record of accomplishments and service. So much appreciation for that, and thank you for your openness to fielding the further questions and concerns of board members and community members in this work. One thing that I would add, maybe, Ms. Hooker, if it would be possible to hear at the board meeting, either just a little bit more detail about the process, the review process, or even hear from someone who was a participant in that process, maybe a parent or a school-based staff member who participated. That would be a perspective that I think would be helpful for board members to hear as well, just someone who was along in that process.
Will do. Mhm.
Great. If there are no further questions on that, then we will move ahead. And thank you, Ms. Richardson, for sharing the information with us, and look forward to more conversations.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Over now to the School Governance Council report and Welcome Center report. And are we starting with the School Governance Council report? That's the slide that's up. All right, Mr. Martinez, take it away. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, once again. So just a recap of what SGC is, because we are so used to saying School Governance Council. So SGC is a committed group of people that consists of parents, teachers, community partners, 2 students at the high school level, and the principal that work together in making important decisions on the academic success of all HPS students. So as you can see, based on the chart that we have, the group is composed of 7 parents that are elected parents, 2 students that are voting in by the students themselves at the high school level, 5 teachers, and 2 community partners that are elected during the first SGC meeting of the year. And then Christina, you can head over to the next slide. And then you're all wondering at this moment about the SGC report. Well, school rosters are not due until next week, October 15th, which is the reason why we don't have a full SGC report. But that's been the policy for years. The due dates are October 15th. At this moment, schools are finalizing election process. But what I wanted to do was to provide you all with a timeline of the next steps once the elections are done for every single building. So once I receive the rosters, and every school submit their rosters to me directly on the 15th, I will first check that I received every single person's roster. And then starting on the 16th through the 20th, what I'll be doing is I'll be reviewing every single SGC roster. And what I mean by reviewing is that we're making sure that we have our election ballots, that those have been submitted as well, not just the rosters, the election dates, to make sure that no one from like 3 or 4 years ago appears on a roster that was elected more than either a year ago, and then their term, right? We need to make sure, in addition to that, to make sure that no one was appointed. The next steps that we're taking as a district, which is something that our office is implementing this year as something new, is between the weeks of the times from October 22nd through the 24th. Every single SGC member from each individual school will be receiving an email from the department, especially me, welcoming them into their school's SGC. And this is another way of us having check and balances to make sure that people that have been that their names have been written into the roster actually know that they're part of the SGC and that they were not appointed, which has been a concern from several people in the past. So we're just making sure we have several checks and balances this school year to ensure that everyone has been elected and not appointed. Make sure that there is a connection between the district and the school's SGC so that they see, so that parents, teachers, community partners know that it's not just a silo working with their individual building. The district is also involved as well. So those are new steps that we've taken this school year in regards to SGC. And obviously, once I've done all that process, I will make sure that I will present to you all a breakdown of where we are with each individual school, like I did last year. Any questions?
Mr. Wilson?
Thank you. Really quick, just for my own education here. Two things. One, is there anything any sort of conflict that would not allow board members to attend SGC meetings? And if not, is it possible to provide the board with a schedule for all the schools and when they hold or when they plan to hold their regular SGC meetings?
Great that you say that, because we also did plan for that this school year. So the requirement to all school administrators is that by November 14th, we should have every single school schedule of their SGC and their times, and those will be posted in the HPS website once we receive them. So that is something that we are doing this school year to ensure that everyone has the SGC dates. I know that for years, some administrators or people think that SGC meetings are closed up behind the scenes meetings. They are not. They are open to the public. The only thing is that the public doesn't have a chance for any discussion, but the dates, the reason why we're making the dates public is so that people have a chance to actually know what's going on in the SGC in their buildings, and we'll be sharing those on November 14th with everyone. Well, that is the deadline that we've given all administrators to submit their dates so that we can post them in our website.
Perfect, thank you. I'd like to maybe work with your office to schedule, board members to attend at least one SGC meeting for each one of the schools. Just as I want to make sure that the schools and our families, especially within those communities, understand that their voice is being heard and that we're paying attention. So as we get all that together, I hope we can schedule those out for board members.
Definitely. We will be working with Christina and let you know.
Appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah, I've made a note of that as well. And unless I'm mistaken, some SGC meetings were already listed on the upcoming events calendars that you shared by zone at the beginning. Is that correct?
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct.
Cool. Board Chair Brody, go ahead.
Yeah, so could we make sure that on our district site, also that the district, how we engage as some SGC meetings, that those are current. Also what's available, should be made available to the public is the chairs in whatever method that they're wanting the public to contact them, whatever that is. That is something that is not supposed to be private. And also that we're doing our due diligence, that if you're a staff member, you're on there as staff. If you're a staff member and you're a parent, you're a staff member for this, like that. I think that can be not misleading, because, well, it could be if someone thinks you're on there saying, oh, I'm a parent and that's my representation, but your boss is the co-chair. So we could never, like, you might feel obligated, not saying you have to support something that's more for the school and maybe not for parents. I don't know. But I just think if you're a parent and you're a staff member, your role on the SGC should not be available for you to be a parent, because there are roles to be a staff member on the SGC. So I don't know if we're paying attention to that, but there are a lot of folks that want to know what's going on at SGCs, and a lot is going on, but our up-to-date information on our site can sometimes lag behind. That's all from me.
Okay. And so I will make sure, Board Member Brody, that we do have the SGC chairs information for each individual school up on the website. I know that we're currently working with Deb Zimmerman from the Communications Department to ensure that all of our information, especially from our department, it's up to date. In regards to staff and the parents, the SGC state policy does state that if you are a staff member in that building, you cannot serve as a parent SGC member for your child's school, and that's right in the state policy. So it's something that I'll be paying close attention. Thank you for bringing that up, and I'll be aware of that, but that is a policy by the state.
Thank you. And so everybody know, I'm going to be popping up in some of the SGCs. Me scheduling it will probably not happen. Me popping up probably will happen more often than me scheduling it.
And that's like I mentioned, SGCs are open and public meetings for anyone from the community to be able to walk in there and hear what's going on during that meeting. So thank you.
Mr. Stelledger, your question.
Thank you. And it's not so much a question, it's more of a comment. I wanted to say that when prior to, getting on the board, being elected to the Board of Education, I served on the SGC in one of my child's schools, in Hartford Public Schools. I also served on the SGC for CREC. And I just feel like it's great to have that voice to be able to speak in that capacity and be able to represent for your child. But I also understand being an educator, working with the SGC in my building in another district. Yes, if you're a staff member and you have a child in the school, because I had that situation as well, it's very important to keep that lens as, keep that seat as a staff member and open it up to parents. And also look at how we're encouraging parents to be part of the SGC. Not have them think that, oh, this is something that, is far reaching, or, maybe my voice won't make a difference, but we need all voices. We need all backgrounds. We need representation. I always say representation matters. So I hope that we're putting that out there.
Yeah. Any additional questions at this moment? Okay. Thank you all. And as soon as soon as I have completed and receive all rosters, or start putting together the usual report that I put together for everyone. Thank you all so much.
Great. We will look forward to that. Thank you very much. Recognizing that we are going over time slightly, and thank you for your patience, Flor, we would love for you to share with us the Welcome Center report.
I'm going to meet the bar and I'm going to try to get us out of here as soon as possible. I am really excited to report for the Welcome Center. And I have to say, I'm very excited. This is the first year that I start because I haven't hit the year mark yet as the director. So thank you all and good afternoon to everyone. The Welcome Center, we have been extremely busy. It's really exciting. When I look up, it's like, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock. And sometimes I look up and it's like, oh my God, it's 4:30. So we have been very busy helping our families. For the month of August, we had 1,138 intakes. You can go to the next slide. And that is up from last year, where we had 859 intakes in the month of August. So as a reminder, you all receive this report on a monthly basis ahead of time, and you could see the entire breakdown. For the report, I always like to give the top 3 engagement services. I believe in the report you get 10. So you have a more thorough description of all of the engagement services that we provide. And in the month of August, the top 3 services, that engagement services that we provided was displaced family support, transportation inquiries, and clothing assistant. And the clothing assistant also includes uniform. And then for the top 3 schools that we provided services for elementary school was Kennelly, MD Fox, and Rawson. And for middle school was Milner, Global, and Burr. And for the high school, it was Buckley had the most, then Weaver, then Hartford Public High School. Next. And we have 5 family resource center. And the family resource centers, although some of the schools were closed, they were not closed. So they continued to provide services throughout the summer. And for the month of August, Burns Latino had 497 services that they provided to the community. And these included the social and supportive services that included housing, basic needs, and food pantry. Sarah Rawson and Sand School and Freddie Wish Museum. Freddie Wish had 230, Rawson 335, and Sand 85, and they all provided social and support services, all 3 of those. And then Maria Sanchez had 271, and they provided after-school activities, mental health services, adult education, and school-age child care activities while on vacation. And that's all I have. Any questions for me?
I actually have one little suggestion, I think. You always report out like the top schools by numbers, and it's often, sometimes we see some changes, but it's often like the larger schools that have the more numbers, which kind of makes intuitive sense. I wonder if it would make any meaningful difference to see the number of like the top schools proportional to the size of the student population, like just by dividing the intakes by the total number of students. I don't know if that would tell us anything interesting. It might just say like, oh wow, there's a disproportionate number of intakes from this particular school. Just throwing it out there for your team. I'm not asking for that necessarily, but if it seems like it'd be worthwhile for you all, then
Yeah,
that's a good suggestion. One of the things that we did in one of the meetings that we have with the the FCSSPs was that, for example, clothing assistant, that was mostly with uniforms. One of the schools said this year we have very limited uniforms. And so for that school, you would see if it was elementary or middle, they would come for more uniforms because the school didn't have it. So when they are in the top 3, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming because they're complaining or because, like last year, we saw a lot of fires in the South End. So a lot of the displaced family support you would see in the schools from the South End. So that's where those numbers are coming from. And so, but it would be interesting to see in terms of the percentage versus the amount of students that we have in the school. Noted.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. It's always interesting data to track. There's so many layers and so many services that you provide. So thank you for summarizing it here. And I'm told that the full report is available on Board Docs for anyone who wants to go through that more thoroughly. And congratulations on soon to be rounding out your first year.
Yes.
Look forward to going around again on the cycle.
Amen to that.
Any questions from other board members about the Welcome Center report or the Community Resource Center report?
I can't raise my hand. I'm sorry, Mr.
Go ahead, Ms. Brody.
No, just if we have to be tracking every school anyway, could we maybe not forward facing, but could we just get the report that shows the school in the categories in which they received a concern, complaint, or whatever? I think we used to do it quite some time ago for board members.
It's the report that we submit. Do you want us to change the framework?
No, so we still get the other one that says all the things. And
yeah.
Then for reporting, we're just presenting this to
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? With that, thank you all very much for your engagement and your work in bringing good energy to this committee. I enjoy these meetings with you all. And I hope that your next month goes well and that you wear all the sweaters and pick all the pumpkins. And I guess, Mr. Martinez, you can just grin and bear it. But the rest of us do enjoy the next month, and we will look forward to seeing you again, first at the regular meeting and then again at this committee meeting next month. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good evening.